submission I shall make to this committee,
that the submission shall make to this committee,
including all documents and annexures,
including all documents and annexures,
are factual.
And on page 418 of that report, we have Nigerian Customs Service Headquarters, Abuja. At the Nigerian Customs Service Headquarters, Abuja, the following observations were made. Issue 1. Under remittance of revenue into the Federation account for the year 2017, page 418, to the tune of 62,242,980,006 naira 87 kobo. Section 82, subsection 1 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999 as amended, states in part, and I quote, the Federation shall maintain a special account called the Federation account, into which shall be paid all revenues collected by the government of the Federation. End of quote. Audit was presented with two separate reports, namely Nigerian Customs Service Summary of Monthly Revenue Collection 2017 and Nigerian Customs Service Collection and Remittance into Federation Account 2017. Audit observed that 1. In the report of Nigerian Customs Service Summary of Monthly Revenue Collection 2017, total collections for Federation account were 691,266,115,031 naira 44 kobo. 2. However, the report of Nigerian Customs Service Collection and Remittance into Federation account 2017 showed actual remittance into Federation account with the CBN for the year under review to be 629 billion, 23,135,024 naira 57 kobo. And 3. A comparison of these two documents reveal an under remittance of 62,242,980,006 naira 87 kobo. 4. There was no footnote or any form of additional information attached to the two reports showing the reasons for the discrepancy. Neither was any form of communication of management's intention for future reconciliation of the remittance. The above anomalies could be attributed to weaknesses in the internal control system at the Nigerian Customs Service Headquarters, Abuja. Risk: loss of government revenue. 2. Increase in government borrowing to finance its budget. 3. Diversion of public funds. Management response. No response from the management. Recommendations. The Controller General, Nigerian Customs Service, is required to 1. Account for the unremitted sum of 62,242,980,006 naira 87 kobo. 2. Remit the sum of 62,242,980,006 naira 87 kobo to the Federation account, forwarding evidence of remittance to Public Accounts Committee of the National Assembly. And 3. Otherwise, apply sanction relating to failure to collect and account for government revenue in paragraph 3112 of the Financial Regulations. That is the first issue, sir.
Nigerian Customs, you have listened to that query. Unfortunately, there is no response from your management. So by extension, no response from you, based on the literature before us. But you are physically seated before us now. What have you got to say?
That report being read, even though this governance is a continuum, but at times we may have disjoints for one reason or the other. When we assumed office during this the present administration, I think these were pending cases which the Controller General of Customs said should be quickly attended to. And that is why in the documents we have before us, which copies have been made available to the honorable distinguished members, we have responses in the documents we have before us, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, no compliance. So read the response to the first query.
Projection account for the year 2017 with the some.
Hold on.
Okay.
You have it? This document. There you see non-compliance written on here. Wait until each and every one of us,
Okay, sir.
so that you will not be misunderstood.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
That's if I told you will be understood.
Can I proceed, sir?
Yes, sir. By all means.
Yeah. Issue number 1, under remittance of revenue into the Federation account for the year 2017, 62,242,980,687 naira. We said the Federation account levies include CET, wheat flour levy, wheat grain levy, brown rice levy, textile levy, overdue cargo levy, wine levy, and cigarette levy, of which only 5 are actively active, namely the CET, that's common external tariff, wheat flour levy, wheat grain levy, rice levy, and cigarette levy. Out of this, only CET is captured as a Federation account item by Central Bank of Nigeria, while others are classified as non-Federation account items. We said furthermore, the reasons for the differences are as a result of system glitches, as multiple transactions are being carried out daily, cut-off time of various banks, etc., which have been transferred to the next accounting month or year, as the case may be. Mr. Chairman, sir, and the distinguished senators, I wish to add at this juncture that Nigeria Customs Service is one of the institutions that started the Treasury Single Account System. Customs Service does not have an account where we collect revenue. Revenue payable to the government, either into the Federation or non-Federation accounts, are paid through designated banks, and these banks are the ones that do remittances to the central bank. So the issue of under remittance or non-remittance by Nigeria Customs Service cannot even come up because we do not collect revenue. What we do is people do declaration, they go to the accredited banks, make payments. It is the bank and the central bank that do the issue of remittance. And I want to add further that because of some of this observation of probably under remittance or non-remittance being observed, the Nigeria Customs Service has started embarking on a quarterly reconciliation outing, where all the banks are being called upon to come and reconcile their collection and remittances to the central bank, and where there are differences, actions are taken. Thank you, sir.
Trying to raise this question whether or not you'll be able to do justice to the job at hand. But being a deputy controller means you are the second person in order of authority, which is actually good enough for this committee to listen to. But you have not in any way attempted to answer the query raised and comment. You have not in any way attempt to answer the questions raised. What do I mean by that? In your reply, sir, look at the query as canvassed and look at the replies as delivered. And part of the reply, which I will quote you, that the Federation account levies include CTC and thereabout and thereabout and thereabout. And on your second page, you see reason for the differences as a result of system glitches, as multiple transactions have been carried out daily, cut-off time for various banks, etc., which have been transferred to the next accounting month or year, as the case may be. If it is an accounting procedure, there should not be glitches. There should be a very transparent demarcation as to this 62.2 billion. We should have seen clearly how they were transferred in. This is your line of defense. But to subsume everything on glitches, and then you haven't also make any attempt to say cut-off time for various banks. Which banks? What are the cut-off? How many of them? What amount for each bank? These are things that are specific in nature, that if you add them up, we must make sure that it resembles, or it is like 62.2 billion. That will give the Auditor General and the committee a substantial satisfaction that this particular query is answered. Secondly, and very importantly, this happened almost 7 years ago. But because government is a continuum, you probably was not there. No, probably you are not there, because I know the custom provision. But custom, you are not there, but that does not mean you are not answerable to happen, because you hate the organization. So when you raise some of this, the answer is very clear. But the query, the reply, is diluted. In my opinion, you have not answered this particular query. But just reserve your comments so that colleagues will then you add them up.
Distinguished colleagues, first, I would like to align myself with my colleague who just spoke concerning whether you have answered this question posed before you. But I want to come from a different dimension. In the Auditor General's report, you had two documents you presented to them. One was the monthly summary of revenue collection. That is your document. Another one is the monthly collection. That is where the difference is arising from. The difference of 62 billion is arising from. This is 7 years, 8 years or so after this 2017. This happened in 2017. The first question I want to ask is that, have you been able to do a reconciliation of this difference? Because this response you have given now does not in any way solve the difference. It does not in any way explain the difference. What would have explained this difference very, very well is a reconciliation to show the amount of money that shows your revenue and what was received by CBN, and finding out what was the reason for that difference. Have you been able to do that reconciliation? That's number one. Mr. Chairman, the second thing I want to say here is this. It's very, very common in the public sector. For somebody who has also been a head of a revenue collecting agency, it's very, very common. You did explain that the money does not come to Nigerian customs. It goes directly to CBN. It simply means that you tell them where the amount, and they pay to the designated bank who now remit to CBN. Mr. Chairman, what usually happens is between the collecting banks and CBN, that's where the fraud is. And you need, as an organization, you need to be really, really vigilant to track your collections. Otherwise, people pay randomly from everywhere. And once the bank understands that you are not able to track it, they will keep that money. You keep that money. So after you have answered, Mr. Chairman, I think that the banks the collecting banks need to be invited for the reconciliation of this difference. Please, very, very important. That's the only way we can deal with it. A lot of government money is lost in this process. A lot. A huge private money, you can track it. You might, because you don't have that kind of money. But for government, a lot is going in between the banks and CBN. You just need a proper reconciliation. That's what I want to add to it. Thank you.
By Senator Joel Onoakpo Thomas. He mentioned reconciliation, and in the explanation given to us today, we were told that the difference occurs because of timing differences. That is, receipts being recorded in one period instead of the next, or the next period instead of the current period. But that should also mean that for you to identify the codes, you've identified the items. And since it is a timing difference, the payments should have been remitted within 1 or 2 months thereafter. And all these accounts should in fact be accounts that are subject to monthly reconciliation so that the differences are being tracked on a regular basis. So for us to see an outstanding difference of 62 billion that has not been tracked is of great concern. What it tells me is that the system of regular reconciliations is not being followed, and that could mean that there are more significant amounts that are not being tracked that are going astray. So I would want possibly a more comprehensive audit that tracks the system and maybe deals with the full potential amount that has gone missing to be carried out, so that we can nail down the exact figure that at today's date is unaccounted for, because this is going back 7 years now. The figure today may be 10 times this amount by now. Thank you, Chair.
Custom does not maintain an account where they pay revenue to concerning the issue of us not collecting revenue directly. There is no account as Nigeria Customs Service into which either excise duties or import duties are being paid. That was what I was putting across. And on this issue of non-reconciliation, what our people have done is to speak squarely to the document of 2017. But I can say, by the time we present subsequent reports or probably audit reports on subsequent years, it will be obvious that this issue of 65 billion or whatever, 62 billion, must have been adequately taken care of. And just like I mentioned, on this issue of, we are here, we've taken hold. The issue of under-remittance and non-remittance was an issue. There were issues that came up. They were discovered and they were tackled. And like I said earlier, as at last week, Friday or Thursday, a team has been assigned to go for the third quarter reconciliation, during which all banks are invited. And this has been going on for almost 2 years now. And this was triggered by this observation. But what we have done is to speak squarely to this document. But by the time we bring our subsequent reports, probably 2021, 2022, it will be seen. And banks are being suspended. There are times newspapers will carry it that so-so bank has been suspended from collecting custom duty, and it's a result of either this non-remittance, under-remittance, or late remittance. So these issues are being tackled squarely. So I want to apologize if we have not brought in those current efforts into this report, but it was because we were speaking squarely to the document before us. Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah, we have by distinguished members of this committee. In my position as the chairman, based on the support I have of my colleagues, I would like to say that the Customs Service handle this issue with levity. For it to linger for 7 years, and you were not able to reconcile between the commercial banks, that is your collecting banks, and then Central Bank of Nigeria, for you to sit before us here today and say what you have said, we have listened to, but it is not accepted. Going forward, I will not want to quickly submit or accept the decision of the Office of the Auditor General until this is done. And what is to be done is this. You should submit to us your collecting banks. We will call, as suggested by our distinguished colleague here, at that period of time. You know, because for this, I don't know if I will be right to use the word shenanigan, for this to be put to a stop, then the banks must appear here. We listen to them, then we see the discrepancies and see where they all emanated from. Of course, for the customs, yes, you collect revenues. That's what our distinguished colleague, and then, of course, my senior colleague. No, I am the chair.
I want to amend
You want to amend?
my motion.
Did you? Okay. Okay. Custom service, I am the chair. The authority here ends with me, but with their support. The gavel is before only one person here, and it's me. So, yes, and so I was on the floor going somewhere, but our distinguished colleague respectfully interjected, and what he submitted is the position of the committee. The Customs Service should find way to refund 62.2 billion to the Federation account.
In the table below was collected by the service in 2017. Import duties, 553 billion plus. Excise duties, 40. Account levy, 110.7 billion. Making a total of 691 billion naira. 2. The Nigerian Customs Service collection and remittance into Federation account in 2017 report showed that the sum of 627 billion 664 million 309,760 naira 77 kobo net was collected. 3. This resulted in an unremitted difference of 63 billion 601 million 805,270 naira 67 kobo. And 4. There was no footnote nor additional information attached to the two reports showing reason for the discrepancy. Neither was there any form of communication or management intention for future reconciliation or remittance. The above anomalies could be attributed to weaknesses in the internal control system at the Nigerian Customs Service Headquarters, Abuja. Risk, loss of government revenue. 2. Increase in government borrowing to finance its budget. 3. Diversion of public funds. Management response. No response from management. Recommendation. The Controller General, Nigerian Customs Service, is requested to 1. Account for the unremitted sum of 63 billion 601 million 805,270 naira 67 kobo. 2. Remit the sum of 63 billion 601 million 805,270 naira 67 kobo to the Federation account. 3. Forward evidence of remittance to the Public Accounts Committees of the National Assembly. And 4. Otherwise, apply sanctions relating to failure to collect and account for government revenue stated in paragraph 3112 of the financial regulation. That is the second issue, sir.
I've got to do with on the remittance, and then the reason or reasons you have are enveloped in the same, all together. Then we just take the same decision and allow you go for you to respond to the committee with your evidences of remittance or remittances to the Federation account. Okay.
Mr. Chairman, with your leave, sir. Not all. Mr. Chairman, I need your attention. Why are you distracting the chairman? The issues 1 to 4 are actually related in that manner.
Yes, sir.
But other issues like non-maintenance of revenue, collection receipt, splitting of contracts, violation of e-payment that were different. My check, if the deputy controller is at home with some of these issues that he thinks he can provide answers here and now, I think we can grant him that thing so that we reduce them as much as possible. But if he is not, we can now give you another time to look at it.
Chairman, sir, I think from what is going on, it's better we go back to the drawing board, call up records again, even though reconciliation, which I believe will not take too much of a time, because reconciliation and whatever is something that is ongoing. I will be able to provide a more robust responses to some of these issues. I think the mistake made here is that people tried to address just the 2017 issue, but now we need to go to reconcile from 2017, any carryover from 2018. We look how was it reconciled, then we go to 2019, how do we reconcile 2018 to coming to 2019. So we'll do that holistically and bring a more robust report to the committee. Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah, this 5 hours, 10 hours, 1 week, because
I might want to seek the indulgence of the committee to give us 2 weeks, sir.
Okay, 2 weeks. Take note of the date, and before you leave,
Yes, sir.
please, you need to take these issues very, very seriously. The Nigerian Customs Service is one of the most reliable life wires of the revenue generations of Nigeria. And it is from the leakages like this continue to exist within the Nigeria Customs Service revenue generation conveyed to the CG. You said it yourself. Our distinguished colleagues here all said it. Government is a continuum. So we must face it the way it should be faced. 2 weeks from now will be
Issues 1 to 4. Issues 1 to 4.
issues 1 to 4. 2 weeks from now, 19th, Thursday. No, is that Tuesday? It will be Tuesday, the 19th of December, 2020. 19th of December? December, well, just 5. Yeah, be fully prepared, because we want to celebrate the Christmas. You go in happiness that your issues are resolved, for government to have more money, for commitment to increase in the discharge of our various responsibilities. With this, we say once more, very good evening to you, DCG, and members of your team. You enjoy the rest of your day.
Mr. Chairman, the distinguished members, I sincerely want to give us this audience in the absence of our Controller General and for the guidance you've given unto us. We appreciate, we owe you in very high esteem, and we will not disappoint you. Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah. He has to be here. Otherwise, we will not take you and we will resign our decision. Understanding of the responsibilities that are expected to be discharged by this committee. This committee relies partly, not wholly, on the Auditor General for the Federation's annual report to discharge its responsibilities. But beyond that, the committee as well goes on status inquiry, where it writes ministries, departments, and agencies to want to know the status in respect of the constitutional responsibilities or otherwise of such of either the ministry, department, or agency in question. And the committee, based on its commitment to the growth and development of Nigeria, is not out to witch hunt anybody or want to take anybody to the cleaners. And the committee, under my stewardship, with the support of my distinguished colleagues, have had cause to say this not once, not twice, that we should understand that audited report or Auditor General's of the Federation's report is not an indictment on any ministry, department, or agency, but it is rather a wake-up call for us to know that A, B, C, D were wrong, committedly wrong yesterday, or wrongly committed yesterday. Today, going forward, we should find ways to correct the wrongs, and then to make the system better, and we move on for a better and greater Nigeria. At this point, the committee is today compelled to say what I am going to say on Nigerian Ports Authority. Nigerian Ports Authority is found wanting on both ends, and one on the Auditor General for the Federation's annual report, and also on the end of status inquiry. There are issues around Lagos channel management, Boni channel management, and of course Calabar channel management. And on these issues, the committee had respectfully written the Nigerian Ports Authority management. Some of the communications were responded to, and some are still yet to be responded to. Today, the Nigerian Ports Authority is supposed to have appeared before this committee so that we look at the queries raised by the Office of the Auditor General of for the Federation. Nigerian Ports Authority is not here. The the management officers from the MD to the EDs, none is here, but rather chose to send a general manager to us. And as at the time Nigerian Ports Authority was called to the table, the general manager was also unavoidably absent, though she later on appeared to say she had gone for her medication. Some of these queries have got to do with the indebtedness of the terminal operators, which is almost $1 billion. $852 million, 93,730 cents, 77 cents. This is, and of course, 1,878,560,000, 509,057 kobo. There is also the issue of outstanding estate rent, shipping due, service boards, and what have you, over almost $68 million. The status of long outstanding debtors or debts are all part of the issues to be answered by Nigerian Ports Authority. This is not even to talk about the issues surrounding the Lagos Channel Management, the Boni Channel Management, and then Calabar Channel Management. I will not want to go into the details of this literature that have got to do with Nigerian Ports Authority. But at this point, for and on behalf of the committee, what I have to say on Nigerian Ports Authority is that we will communicate finally to the Nigerian Ports Management of Nigerian Ports Authority within the next 48 hours to either appear before this committee for Nigerians to know what they have in stock as regards to these queries and issues that we have, gathered within the period as a result of status inquiry. Otherwise, we will use all the necessary instruments available to us by law to bring the management of Nigerian Ports Authority to order, because nobody is above the law and nobody will be allowed to disrespect and take the institution of the National Assembly for granted, because we are the people's parliament. We are here on the mandate of the people. We will not take disrespect by anybody. With this, gentlemen of the press, my distinguished colleagues and gentlemen of the press, we thank you for your understanding. And this is not to say our doors will not be opened to whoever has what to say, what to do, that will make it a better period for us to discharge our responsibilities. Thank you very much.